To hire a top-notch salesperson, first sell them the job. My name is Serhi Hiros. I am a sales trainer, and in this video, I will give you a step-by-step algorithm for finding the perfect candidate. The first thing you need to know is that a top-notch salesperson is someone who is in demand in any country and in any business. These people bring money to your cash register. Their work is extremely valuable, and there is literally a hunt and competition among companies for these people. So first of all, ask yourself, how cool are you? Because great salespeople go to great companies. If you don't have an equivalent offer for a great salesperson, then there are two options. First, become great, learn, and improve your company. Or the second option, solve the issue with money, that is, pay more to a great salesperson. But the question is, when will it pay off? How do you check if a salesperson knows how to sell? Ask them to sell you something in real time. It doesn't have to be just a pen. It can be any other product that the salesperson is comfortable with. In other words, something they already know how to sell. For example, if he sold plastic windows at his previous job, ask him to sell you a plastic window, a phone, or some service. This is done so that you can take on the role of the client and feel how comfortable it is to talk to the salesperson, because comfort is one of the criteria of a top-notch salesperson. If you are already uncomfortable, if the salesperson did not create comfort, then perhaps this is not the right person for the job. But you also need to be careful not to get confused and be able to distinguish between a situation where the manager is uncomfortable and one where they are uninterested, but still great, because in the latter case, it means you haven't created value for the job position. Understand and ask questions. If the top-notch salesperson is not interested, inquire about what would make them interested, under what conditions they are willing to compete for profit in your company, and what they are agreeable to. Then you will see whether you are ready to pay for it or ready to change. This way, you will make an independent decision. So, the second thing to remember is that the manager should not be the one thinking about how to sell, because with his obligations, he must sell, and you need to sell him the job. Therefore, before he agrees, you need to sell him the idea of working specifically at your company. So, here is a question for you. Do you know how to sell job vacancies? Do you know how to sell ideas? Do you interview 10, 20 candidates a week or month and still can't find the one you need? Therefore, first of all, check yourself. Ask for feedback from the manager, who can listen to you from the outside, analyze your negotiations or meeting recordings if the client agreed. In summary, what makes a good salesperson? First, you feel comfortable with them. Second, a good salesperson is someone who can actually sell you a product or demonstrate their skills in action in real time. Third, trust. If you, as an employer, assume that you have a top-notch salesperson in front of you, build trust between you. If you realize that this is the top-notch salesperson, you can give them a test task to move them to the next stage of trust and understanding. Otherwise, what happens? There's no time to test. Sales were needed yesterday. So we take the candidate who is available because they have good experience. And thus, you take a risk. So, step by step, where should you start looking for your ideal candidate? By creating a large inbound funnel. To reach the maximum number of candidates in a small city, such as Venezia, you need to either hire remote workers or purchase paid job postings on specialized websites. The consideration of candidates can be delayed due to not meeting the company's requirements. And for this case, I have a small life hack. If your niche requires a specialist who understands the product, then hire this product expert and pair them with a salesperson who knows how to conduct negotiations. That is, if you have a complex product, you will need to train your product manager. A good solution for this is to pair the manager with someone who is an expert in the product. It is desirable for them to work in pairs for some time. For example, you have a real estate expert and a top salesperson. The tandem of a real estate expert and a salesperson will work brilliantly. A large funnel of candidates will be created when there is a job vacancy that sells itself. I often see job postings with a huge list of requirements for candidates and very few advantages that the candidate will receive. And this is very important because right now you are selling the job to your potential employee. He will need to learn a new product, get accustomed to the corporate culture, and meet the KPIs. Therefore, first showcase the advantages of working with you. In fact, many incoming applications come from premium listings on the largest job platforms. Jobs on UWA, Workwe, or LinkedIn. Do you want a top-notch salesperson? The salary must be 20% above the market rate. Perhaps this is how you have been finding candidates. Write about your experience in the comments. So, once you have created the funnel and selected the first candidates, we move on to the second stage, resume screening. How to evaluate them without getting hung up on each resume? Quickly glance to see if the candidate has a quality photo, if their eyes are shining in the photo, if they chose a photo where their face is clearly visible, or conversely, if it's some low-quality, outdated photo. Also, pay attention to how often they change jobs. Of course, in sales, employees usually change jobs frequently because it is an unstable and stressful job. But even under such conditions, the optimal tenure for a salesperson is about 12 months. More is, of course, better. But it is important to consider that people can burn out, get tired, and become less productive. Be sure to pay attention to the basic formatting of the resume. You shouldn't spend a lot of time reviewing. It takes just 2 to 3 seconds to understand that a resume is good. But sometimes a poorly formatted resume can belong to a top-notch salesperson because they don't have time to format it. For those who care, this is important. The third stage is the phone interview. Don't spend too much time here either. 5 minutes is enough. Take turns explaining the job, reminding them who you are and which company you represent. Then move on to the screening questions. There are 3 of them. The first one, why are you looking for a job? The answer should be reasonable. If the employee left their previous job due to constant tardiness, it's clear that this is not the candidate we need. Secondly, ask if the candidate can name 3 major achievements in their life. A professional in their field will name them easily. And third, ask why we should hire you specifically. But this will only work if you have advantages, if there is experience in sales. Simulate a phone conversation with them and see how they sell their previous product. Sell the job. See how the candidate performs in action rather than just talking about their experience. Interested in learning about the next stages of hiring? Personal interview, test assignment, and internship. If so, subscribe now and don't miss the second part.